Do you remember this camera? The Insta360 1R? Well, now we have a better version of it, the 1RS. This one comes with a bigger battery, better processor, more microphones, and better quality. And it can do this. So the 1R and now the 1RS are modular cameras, which in my opinion is the best thing about these cameras. The fact that you can get a camera like this, use it as an action camera, then just remove the battery, remove the action module, and put a 360 module and put it back together and use it as a 360 camera is the biggest advantage this camera has. So these are all the components of the camera. We have the battery base, which is now 21% bigger than the previous model. We have the core, which is pretty much the brain of the camera. And then you have the two separate modules that you can put on this camera. This is the 4K boost lens, which now has 1/2 inch sensor and 48 megapixel camera. It shoots 4K 60 frames per second. And this is the 360 module, which shoots 5.7K 360 video. It has cameras both on the front and on the back. And it's the same as last year's model. Now, because of the upgraded processor of the core of the camera, this camera is now faster, it has better stabilization. I immediately noticed that the built-in flow state stabilization is a lot smoother and a lot better compared to what it was before. And especially for FPV, I think it makes a huge difference when you put this on a drone. The stabilization works a whole lot better, and you even have two different options for stabilization. You can use a built-in stabilization, which is kind of like baked in the video, so you don't have to do anything afterwards in post. You can just use the camera as it is, shoot with it, and then have a final ready to be shared file straight on the SD card. On the other hand, you also have the chance to select post stabilization, which means that you'll have the chance to play with the settings afterwards, whether that's in the phone application or in the studio app on your computer. This will give you more options to choose from when it comes to choosing your point of view. Maybe you want to use ultra wide angle or just wide angle. Maybe you want to select narrow. You can do that from the app afterwards. So when comparing the newer camera with the older model, you will see some small differences. So first, like I mentioned, the battery has now 21% more capacity compared to the previous model. And when you put them side by side, you will see that this one is a little bit taller because the battery base is a little bit bigger as well. Next, the pattern and the texture on the front are a little bit different, and you will also see a new layout for the microphones. Now you have an additional microphone on the 1RS for better audio. However, in my tests, I didn't really notice any improvement compared to the 1R. I don't think Insta360 can get these right because the audio always sounds really bad on the 1RS and the 1R. I've never been able to make it sound good, and here is a direct comparison with a GoPro Hero 10 Black to see the differences. So this is how things will look and sound like if you decide you want to start vlogging with the Insta360 1RS. I'm currently filming in 4K 30 frames per second. Everything is set to auto, and I'm using flow state stabilization to stabilize the footage. At the same time, this is how things look like on the GoPro Hero 10 Black. I'm running the same settings, everything is set to auto, 4K 30 frames per second. I'm filming in super view with boost hypersmooth stabilization. With the new 1RS, you have a whole new design of this mounting bracket, which is now easier to open from the side by pressing on these little buttons here. And it just opens up like so, and you can slide the camera in to put it and then lock it. It's really easy to use, and mine is already a little bit cracked because that's how it is when you fly your cameras on an FPV drone. However, it's a lot better compared to the old cage design of the 1R. It's now a whole lot easier to slide the camera in and out. I definitely like this new design. And it also has a windscreen cover to potentially help you with the wind noise. I didn't notice that, to be honest. Like I said, the audio is definitely not one of the strong points of this camera, but overall I really like the sturdiness and the design of this new mounting bracket. As usual, you can use the Insta360 mobile application to edit all your footage on the go, and now with this built-in flow state stabilization, it's easier than ever to just drop in your footage, edit it very quickly with the included AI shortcuts, and then you're good to go and share that footage straight away on your social media. If you're like me and you want to play around a little bit more with your footage, you can use the Insta360 Studio application, which is available both for Windows and Mac, and edit your footage there. There you can select all of your stabilization settings, FPV settings, all of your linear, wide angle, ultra angle, and all sorts of different point of views. You can reframe your shots for 360 video and do it all inside the app. But the best thing, like I said, about these cameras is the fact that they are modular. And Insta360 made it really easy for all of us to upgrade from the previous model to whichever module we want from the new one. So let's say you have the 1R and you're only interested in this new 4K boost lens. You can just buy that and slap it on your old camera. Because everything is modular, everything is replaceable, it's really easy to purchase just one module. Or maybe you're happy with your 1R, but you need a little bit bigger battery. You can just buy the new battery base and it will work great with your old 1R. I'm really glad to see that Insta360 made it so easy to mix your modules up into one perfect camera that works for you. You don't have to buy a specific part that you're never going to use. You can just purchase the things that you'll need and you like and use them as you wish. To be honest, I only use these cameras for video. I'm not interested in the photo capabilities or any other features these cameras have to offer. I use them on my FPV quads and I use them for action sports. For that, this new 1RS is great. I noticed that the stabilization of this camera is definitely much improved. It's great when you're shooting some slow cinematic movements with the drone. When you throw in a little bit of freestyle, you see the same thing you see on the GoPro Hero 10 Black, for example, or any other GoPro that has stabilization applied to the footage. You notice that there is a little bit of stuttering when you are turning, when you're doing a yaw turn, and then the camera takes a little bit of time to get used to that location switch, and then it moves back into frame to that direction where you're going. But it takes a little bit of time to switch to the new location, to the new angle the drone is moving in. But you will see that on every single camera that has stabilization applied to the footage automatically. If you use a gyro applied stabilization afterwards in post, you will be able to avoid that problem. So maybe if that bothers you, you can turn off the stabilization of this camera and just use gyroflow, for example, to stabilize your footage in a way that doesn't have those twitch movements. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't upgrade the 360 module. It would have been great to not only have this new 4K boost lens, but also a new 360 lens which has a little bit better quality, maybe something more than 5.7K 30 frames per second. But I guess there are some limitations when it comes to the space and the size of this mount. Special shout out to my bro Hit That Roll for taking this camera with him on his snowboard trip, for being able to provide these snowboard shots that were just epic. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now, if you have any questions regarding the 1RS, please don't hesitate to drop them down in the comment section below. I'll be hanging out in the comment section for a little while after I post this video, so I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Ciao.